Адаптируйся.
What's scarier, losing your mind, or realizing the world around you was never real to begin with? Tonight, we dive into psychological horror, supernatural thrillers, and even a few cult classic horrors that still drip with campy charm. These are Netflix's most twisted nightmares waiting for you right now. Follow me so you don't miss the next nightmare list. Number 10. Mutants, 2009. Snow, silence, and then, screams. Mutants is a psychological horror wrapped in post-apocalyptic dread, where survival isn't the only battle, it's the slow betrayal of your own body. A deadly virus has gutted France, leaving behind snowfields painted in blood. Sonia and Marco, paramedics on the run, chase rumors of a military refuge. But Marco, he starts to change. And that's when Mutants shifts from infection thriller to psychological horror. The fear isn't just the monsters clawing outside, it's watching love decay into savagery. Honestly, I found myself whispering, "Please, don't turn," like that would change anything. The wintry isolation gnaws at you, amplifying every crunch of snow and ragged breath. For me, this lands around a 7.9 out of 10. Bleak, tragic, and raw enough to sting. It's the kind of movie that makes you glance sideways at your partner during flu season. Next up, we leave Earth's frozen wastelands, only to float into something even stranger. Number 9. The Cloverfield Paradox, 2018. Imagine space, silent, endless, infinite. Now imagine it cracking open. This isn't just sci-fi, this is cosmic, claustrophobic horror. Set aboard a space station, the Cloverfield Paradox pulls its crew into a nightmare of shattered dimensions. A desperate experiment to save Earth instead rips open reality itself. Alternate selves appear, bodies warp, and corridors become prisons where physics doesn't play nice. It's a supernatural thriller disguised as science. And the paranoia hits fast. I'll admit, some of the science is nonsense. But that actually adds to the unease. Logic abandons you. Just like the crew, a haunting image of a man literally fused into machinery stuck with me for days. I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Messy, yes, but fascinatingly unsettling. Watch it late, with the lights off, and you'll hear the station creak in your own walls. And then, an evil child enters.
Look it, before you rip off that panel and damage God knows what, can we at least discuss it?
Number 8. Little Evil, 2017. Stepdad life is tough enough. Now imagine your stepson might be the Antichrist. Dark comedy meets cult classic horror vibes.
Field of Dreams is pretty cool.
The child. He did this to me.
Little Evil is a playful jab at the evil child trope. With Gary realizing his wife's kid isn't just moody, he's potentially the spawn of Satan. Lucas barely speaks, hides behind his hoodie, and seems to command the loyalty of some very creepy cultists. What works here is the balance. Campy horror meets comedy. Yet it still lands unsettling beats. Honestly, that backyard scene? I laughed, and then shivered. It reminded me of those 90s horror spoofs. But with sharper writing. This isn't terrifying, but it's fun. And sometimes that's what horror fans need. A breather that still delivers shivers. For me, it's a solid 7.2 out of 10, not the scariest, but charming in its dark way. But after comedy, blood returns, in the most brutal workplace imaginable. Number 7. The Conference, 2023. Corporate retreats usually mean bad coffee and awkward icebreakers. Here, it means masked killers and arterial spray. In the conference, Swedish office workers gather for team building, only to find themselves stalked by a vengeful killer. What begins as satire of bureaucracy mutates into full-on slasher horror. One moment you're laughing at soul-crushing PowerPoint jokes, the next, you're wincing at a brutal hammer kill. It's clever in how it skewers corruption while still giving fans the gore they crave. I've sat through corporate retreats, trust me. Death by stapler wouldn't surprise me. For me, this is a 7.6 out of 10. Sharp, bloody, and surprisingly thoughtful beneath the carnage. Watch it with coworkers if you really want to stir paranoia. And speaking of paranoia, what happens when you're handcuffed to a corpse? And the night refuses to end? Number 6. Till Death, 2021. Handcuffed to your husband's corpse. Snow outside. Intruders coming. A survival nightmare begins.
I'm gonna cut myself free of you if it's the last thing I do.
Till Death wastes no time throwing Emma into hell. On her anniversary, she wakes shackled to her husband, just as he blows his brains out. And the nightmare only deepens when intruders arrive to finish her off. This is tense horror at its sharpest. A twisted blend of grief, survival, and ingenuity. Megan Fox sells it, dragging a corpse through icy hallways, weaponizing every ounce of rage. Honestly, I flinched more than once, not from gore, but from sheer claustrophobic tension. It's a cruel setup, but an exhilarating ride. For me, this earns an 8.1 out of 10. Tightly wound, brutal, and oddly empowering. It's the kind of movie that makes you check every locked door twice. But guilt always comes back to haunt you, sometimes with a hook. Number 5. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997. Summer, laughter, a car screeching into the night, and then, a body. Cult classic horror doesn't fade, it sharpens with age.
Is coming back to haunt them.
Oh my gosh.
He's after me too. I got a letter. I got run over. Helen gets her hair chopped off.
The 90s gave us glossy hair, denim jackets, and this bloody gem. 4 friends hide a hit and run, only to be stalked a year later by a hook-wielding figure. I Know What You Did Last Summer is cult classic horror at its juiciest, campy, tense, dripping with guilt. It's not just about the slasher, it's about paranoia eating away at perfect friendships. I'll be real, the dialogue is cheesy, but that's part of the charm. And when that fisherman pokes glints in the dark, oh, you'll squirm. For me, it's an 8 out of 10. Pure 90s nostalgia. Still creepy. Still fun. Perfect for group watches where you laugh, scream, then laugh again. But immortality changes the rules, especially when the monster is human hunger itself. Number 4. He Never Died, 2015. What if eternal life didn't mean peace, but endless hunger? Immortality is curse, wrapped in supernatural thriller grit. Get out! Henry Rollins plays Jack, an immortal recluse who survives on donated blood, poker, and sheer apathy. But when mobsters drag his estranged daughter into danger, his cannibalistic urges claw back. He Never Died blends supernatural thriller with dark comedy, the violence sudden, the tone deadpan. Jack is fascinating, both predator and reluctant protector, snarling at the world yet oddly tender when it matters. Honestly, watching him grumble through apocalypse-level violence is half the fun. It's rare to see a horror movie that makes you both laugh and recoil in the same breath. For me, this hits a solid 7.7 out of 10. Strange, stylish, and oddly heartfelt. But Russia awaits next, and inside its cosmonaut, something far worse than hunger lurks.
Getting you out of here.
Number 3. Sputnik, 2002. A cosmonaut falls from the sky, but he's not alone. Psychological horror in zero gravity? Almost. In Sputnik, the Cold War chills aren't just political, they're parasitic. A cosmonaut survives re-entry, but hiding inside him is a creature that surfaces only at night. Dr. Tatiana, disgraced but brilliant, is brought in to study the symbiosis. What unfolds is psychological horror woven with body horror, intimate, unsettling, and quietly tragic. The alien is grotesque, yes, but the true dread lies in watching human identity bend under military control. I couldn't stop thinking of Alien meets Soviet Steel. Honestly, I was tense the whole time, every shadow, every hiss of breath. For me, this earns an 8.3 out of 10. Smart, chilling, and far more than monster mayhem. But if this feels oppressive, wait until we step into fog, fire, and endless ash. Number 2. Silent Hill, 2006. Fog rolls in, sirens wail, and reality bleeds. This is supernatural thriller at its most suffocating. Adapted from the legendary game, Silent Hill traps Rose in a town where religion curdles into madness and monsters crawl out of the mist. Searching for her daughter, she stumbles through bleeding walls, faceless nurses, and yes, Pyramid Head himself. It's a supernatural thriller drenched in atmosphere, where love collides with cult fanaticism. Sure, the plot stumbles at times, but the imagery is unforgettable. That scene with the burning cult? It shook me. Honestly, this is the kind of horror that feels like a fever dream you can't wake from. For me, it's an 8.2 out of 10. Oppressive, gorgeous, terrifying. Watch it with headphones and you'll swear the siren is inside your house. But now, the shimmer spreads, and nothing human stays whole. Number 1. Annihilation, 2018. The shimmer grows, plants twist into people, and grief itself takes form. Psychological horror, but cosmic in scale. Annihilation is not just sci-fi, it's psychological horror painted across a nightmare canvas. Lena, played by Natalie Portman, joins an all-female team venturing into the Shimmer, a zone where biology rewrites itself. The visuals are breathtaking, flowers blooming in human shapes, a bear that screams with a dead woman's voice, landscapes that feel alive, but the real terror is internal, the weight trauma, loss, and identity fracture until you can't trust your own reflection. Honestly, that mirror-like finale? It rattled me long after credits rolled. This is one of those rare films where beauty and horror dance together. Hand in Bloody Hand. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Haunting, bold, unforgettable, and maybe, just maybe, the scariest journey isn't outward, but inward. 10 twisted horrors, each one clawing at a different fear. From psychological horror that eats at your sanity, to supernatural thrillers that warp faith, to cult classic horror that still makes us grin nervously. Which movie scared you the most? Dare to comment below. And follow me so you never miss the next horror deep dive.